everybody? Welcome to the Investors Link podcast. We got the great, magnificent, and talented Jimmy Gilmore. Give it up for Jimmy.
Thank you. Oh, hang on.
Yep.
There we go.
You don't have it.
I need sunglasses.
I watched the podcast. Now I understand why you wear them, because the lights are pretty bright.
They're
in
pretty
here.
bright. Yeah. My
Yeah.
heart skipped a beat right now.
Because you didn't have your sunglasses on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's because of the rain that he's drinking.
Yeah, what is that stuff? It's like...
Oh, dude, it's bad
Felix-
for you, man.
hype
Felix
you
thinks
up.
he's sponsored by these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, you could get a sponsorship out of the thing if you
That'd
keep
be
drinking it
amazing.
on your podcast.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think you might get it.
Look at that. He just got smarter.
That's great.
But
That's
a
great.
little pick me up, it's like you said, we had a busy day today. You had a way busier day than me today.
Oh man, this day has been insane. So today was the Yuma's Best Breakfast, which all the top companies in town who won the best. So Quick Refrigeration won the best AC company, which I was so happy. That was
freaking go, man.
I think we've won. We've had the title for 13 years, not 13 years in a row, but we've won 13 times.
13 times.
So, and that is like a vote from the public, which is really nice. So,
And how competitive that industry is.
it is. I mean, restaurants is pretty competitive, categories too, but HVAC and plumbing, we got second for plumbing and first for air conditioning. So we had the whole team there, and we got jerseys made, and you'll have to see the pictures. You get a chance to get on social media. You'll see
I'd love
the
to.
pictures.
Yeah, I already saw some, Jimmy. They look good.
They were so bright.
Are they soccer jerseys? Or
Well, the theme was like a sports theme that was put on by the Yuma Sun. So we bought matching jerseys for everybody, but I only bought them for the people that are on the team. So, or not on the team, but were going to the breakfast. And so when we got back to the office, everybody's like, "Hey, I want one of those jerseys." So now I got to order them for everybody. So they're really cool. And then after that today, which was really cool, I'm on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce, newly elected. And they had this state of the state, and the governor was here. So we got to have lunch with the governor today.
Wow.
She spoke on a couple issues, and it was really, really interesting. So
That's awesome.
And then I'm like, you know what? Sorry, got to wrap up, Governor. I got to get on the podcast over there with the investors.
Got to meet Felix and Anthony.
Investors, the investors.
It's an honor.
I got to
It's
get
an
down.
honor.
I got to get down here.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. So as you can see, man, Jimmy's doing a lot right now, but could you tell them a little bit about who you are and how you got started into real estate and real estate management?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I was actually in real estate before I was in air conditioning and plumbing. Before I was a HVAC and plumbing contractor, I was doing real estate in Phoenix and moved down to Phoenix from Flagstaff after I finished college. I moved down there to start flipping houses. And Anthony and I were talking about this. We started off going to the auctions, right? So we went, except in Maricopa County, you really can't go to the auction because they force you out.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't you could go to the foreclosure auction, but they're gonna bid the houses up, and then you're never gonna come back because you're gonna spend way too much and you're gonna lose. So there's like 5 guys that kind of control that.
It's a mafia.
There's like 5 guys that kind of control that in Maricopa County. You weren't expecting the story, right?
Stuff. No, man, that is crazy.
No, it gets more gangster. You're gonna be surprised by this. So, I knew a little bit about real estate kind of growing up. My father had rental properties, so I kind of knew that was interesting to me. So I spent the money, and we hired, me and a partner, 3 partners, between the 3 of us, we hired a real estate consultant to kind of walk us through the process. And he gave us the name of one of the 5 guys that goes to the real estate auctions in Maricopa County. He goes, call this guy. You won't be able to go to the auction, but you tell him what you want. He will bid on your behalf, and then he'll wholesale it to you, and he'll sell you the property. He'll mark it up. He'll wholesale it for you.
Holy moly!
So, and it was something. It didn't seem that doesn't seem that expensive now, but it was like $2,500, right? That was going to be his fee to go there, bid on the property, and then he'd mark it up $2,500, and then you get the property, right? So we go to this guy's house after he gets the property for us. We go to his house, Colosimo. He's a great dude, but the first time I met him, I was like, what do we get ourselves into? Heavy, thick, Italian, but he came in like a tracksuit, and so
oh my god,
Little Mo.
yeah,
this is a movie.
So he goes, okay, you got to mail your check in, right? Pay for it at the auction,
Yep.
and then where's my, whatever it was, $2,500 or $5,000, or I can't remember what it was,
Right.
And so we give him the check for $5,000. And he's like, I was like, do we get a receipt? You know, like we just bought this house. Do we get it? Like, what do we get? He's like, hang on. And they give you something that looked like it was like crumpled up from like the I mean, you know how it is when you,
He's like, let me see what I got.
yeah, he's like, all right, here, yeah, you can have this. I'm like, what about keys? He's like, hang on. And he hands me a card of like a locksmith. He's like, call this guy. He'll take care of you. I'm like, oh my God, did we just get hustled for like $5,000? You know, whatever it was. So, but thank goodness it was our property. And then of course somebody was living in it. So then, you know, you had to deal with somebody, but we started flipping those properties, had success, and started buying rental properties and flipping properties. And then 2008 hit and we got crushed. I personally got crushed in the downturn in 2008. I mean, next to nothing.
That was a bad time. Yeah.
And almost nothing. I mean, I mean, you know, when you're like, you know what it's like to be broke? Yeah. 2008, 2009. Yeah, I was freaking broke because it was insane how everybody got hit.
So were you doing flipping full time, or were you working a different business, and then how were you sustaining yourself?
Yeah, great question, because I was it's a horrible answer. So I was working in public relations, and I was working for some developers like KB Homes and the big custom home builders, and we were doing public relations for them. And I bought a house at auction. And I'm like, I'm going to make a killing on this house. I'm going to make more than I make in a year on this one house. So what did I do? I told my boss to take a hike. I can't tell you what I really said, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and then I got to the house and realized that there was like 4 layers of carpet in the house. And I like the next day I went to the house. I was like, I wanted to cry. I was like, what did I do? I just quit my job. And now there's more work here than I ever anticipated. I thought this was going to be a huge win. It ended up being a good win, but I was flipping houses then full time, starting to do it full time. And then that's when I got nailed on the downturn.
Right.
Yeah. And then that was hard to crawl out of. That was the hardest thing.
You started before me then. So I started after when the properties were abundant.
Oh my gosh.
At the auction. So different story. There was a mafia down here in Yuma as well.
There's a mafia here in Yuma too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's some mafia probably at every courthouse in
I'm sure.
every city. Like those guys are the OGs of the auctions. And when you go, if you've never been before, you're not going to be friends. You have to show up for a long time for them to get used to you.
Yeah.
So that was, flipping houses was fun back then because you'd go and it was exciting.
Oh, man.
You know,
it was incredible.
They'd start the bid out at, $55,000, and you'd get it, and you'd get it for like 55,000 and a penny or $1. We bought houses like that, like
oh my gosh, crazy,
$1 or a penny over bid. So I remember going because when in 2008 downturn, so 2010 about is when I got started, and so they would have the auctions, but there was more houses because of all the foreclosures,
right?
Than there were bidders.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So you could just like take your pick.
Supply and demand.
Yeah,
right?
you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do it. It technically is illegal, but you're not supposed to go like, hey, Jimmy, you get this one, I'll get this one, and kind of line it up. You're supposed to bid against each other so the house goes up. But there was more houses than there were people. So
much
like, what house are you after? I want the one on Madison, and okay, I'll take the one on.
Wow.
You guys were singing Kumbaya.
Yeah, just like, and everybody was like, high five. Okay, don't bid it up. You take that one.
Oh my God.
And so would everybody walk away with the project.
Oh, yeah, because you kind of divvied it up.
Yeah, and
that's
so
incredible.
you didn't take the margins out like you said, like where you bid it up to something and nobody makes any money. Yeah. That's what happens now.
How were you sustaining yourself?
You know what? We had sold a business, and that was my sustainment.
Gotcha.
While you were starting to flip it.
Flipping. Yeah, I had savings, and then I just lived off of off of my savings, and then I couldn't do as many because I had to be cautious and
right.
Yeah, and then we'd sell it, and then you'd have some money. You'd try not to touch that. You'd live.
Yeah,
Jimmy
right.
knows how to do it.
I totally get it because you're kind of going from project to project, and you're hoping that project will close and finish before you start getting into the next one, before you run out of money.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the key.
So when I quit my job and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I'm adding it up. Am I going to make enough money here from this one house in enough time before I run out of time? And that's one of the things that that I really think about with wealth, right? And that's when I was really studying like what is wealth and like how can you develop wealth. And really the definition of wealth is how many months or years can you sustain yourself without needing additional income, or your passive income exceeds your bills. So at that time, like I had 30 days worth of wealth. That's how wealthy I was. So so I needed to close, I needed to get that project done, or 60 days of wealth, if you want to say it that way, right? When you've got to really try to get years worth of wealth, and then you can retire. That's the ultimate plan. But it was a long, dismal road back then. I mean, it was so bad.
I have to admit, though, I'm a little jealous of both of you guys, because that sounds like it's exciting stuff. It's high risk, high reward.
It was way more exciting. I mean, literally, like Jimmy said, how do you get into this property? Like, there's no keys. No one's giving you, here's a set of keys. It's call the locksmith, try to find a window open, drill a lockout.
Everything seems so just this is the process, and pretty simple and easy.
Well, you're buying something sight unseen. You didn't have inspections.
Nothing.
You didn't.
Nothing.
We got Investors Link.
Yeah. You may have not even seen inside.
Oh yeah. You can't get inside those foreclosure properties. You can try to. You're not supposed to, but you could really try to. You can kind of look in the windows and figure out like what's going on. But oh man, it was crazy back then. And so here's the like really ironic part. So I'm flipping these houses and we're doing well, and then the market absolutely tanks. And so what happens when that market contracted? Well, the properties were $20,000. They were $50,000. They were $100,000 for properties that were $500,000. The price was so low, but you don't have any money.
Yeah, nobody did.
Nobody had any money to buy it. So it was a supply and demand issue on this. There's plenty of supply, and there's nobody to buy it because nobody can qualify for a loan. Nobody have money. So that was like the biggest lesson I took out of that. And I remember sitting down with a mortgage broker going, loan me money. He's like, I can't loan you nothing. There is no money to loan. You couldn't go to the bank and get a loan. Wow. That's even the craziest part. There was nobody who could loan you money at that time. And so he goes, look, here's the lesson you're going to take from this. And I'll never forget it. He said, here's the lesson you're going to take. When everybody's buying, you need to be selling. And when everybody's selling, you need to be buying, right? So everybody was selling. I didn't have no money, though. So you missed out on all these deals.
Those guys that just raked in cash.
Oh, my gosh. That was when one of the greatest shifts of wealth happened in our country, was during that economic downturn, 08. I mean, 08, 09.
Whoever bought then is just
oh my gosh,
sitting on some massive piles of cash.
Yeah, I mean, a house that I had worth, that I bought for $150, like 60 days later was worth $40,000.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Man, that's wild. That was wild. So every day, whenever I'm doing these investment activities, I'm always thinking, okay, where could there be a downturn?
Yeah, and so it's funny, Jimmy, that you say that, because a lot of the younger guys, and we have a lot of younger investors that follow us. A lot of younger guys almost don't remember that time. We kind of grew up in that time, so everybody referred back to like, it's going to crash. We're now 17 years from 08. So
wow. I was 9 years old.
So this guy's 9.
Yeah.
Right? He's 9.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that. That's not in his.
Not even thinking about
I was still watching Power Rangers.
Right. And that could be good or bad, because he didn't feel the pain.
Nope. Oh man.
Or see anybody feel the pain. Or secondly, he's not scared like a lot of people for the last 5 years have been telling you what.
Oh yeah, it's going to crash, or there's going to be a problem.
It's going to crash.
They missed out on all these. I personally have missed out on several real estate opportunities because in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about that crash. And do I need to be taking that much risk right now on certain things?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And looking back, right over the last 5 years, I should have taken all the risk. I should have took a lot more risk. And I think I did, but you still got to navigate it now that I have a family and
for sure.
Businesses and employees that people rely on. You can't go roll the dice on
everything.
Yeah, you can't.
Absolutely.
You can't do it all. You got to do a little bit more due diligence now and make sure that it's going to really turn out to be a good deal.
Yeah, and I think that just highlights the point in real estate. The saying is, you can't time the market. It's time in the market. So you do have to just it's a long viewpoint. You'll never lose if you have a long viewpoint. The shorter viewpoints or the shorter time spans, there's could be some peaks and valleys in there that could really do you in.
Yeah, and that's also why we say it. And we're repeating it probably for like the 7th time. You make your money when you buy your home, the price that you purchase the project for.
Right. Yep. Yeah. The better price you buy it at, you can't guarantee what you're going to sell it for or what it's going to be worth in the future. There's no guarantee. But if you get it deep enough, then
Today.
today,
What's today? How can you make the
that's the
profit
only thing you
today?
can control.
Yeah, today.
Can't control the future.
Yeah, and a shameless plug. That's what the whole point of Investors Link is supposed to do. Jimmy, we sold you a property.
Yeah.
And we know that there's always going to be uncertainty, and this is a business, but we try to make it as simple as possible and give you as much information so that you can make the best decision. And we do 4-point inspections. We walk the property. We take a ton of pictures. We do a bunch of research, and that way, when we send it over to you, whether that's a message or an inbox, and you get as much information as you can, and so you can make a great informed decision. And we're on your side. We want you to make money, because then that means you'll come back.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So when you guys brought that property to me, I'm looking at it going, okay, I know that your business model, you're gonna make a profit from the property.
Yep.
But I also saw very, very clearly that there was a lot of cushion in there for me to do the things that I wanted
Cool.
to do with it. And I don't know if you want to hear kind of some examples of it. I mean, I'm sure you made the price in such a way that there was plenty of room and plenty of cushion for it. So that property alone, we got it cleaned out. We got it. And I want to say that once I got it clean, painted, and I plan on demolishing the property actually eventually at some point.
Yeah.
Because we've got some condos that we're developing. We are not condos, but apartments we develop next door. We want to demolish that and kind of continue that eventually. But right now, it's not the time to do it. But I did need to get it refinanced and pull the funds out of it. So there was enough cushion in that investment to be able to fix it up and pull money out of it.
It's
which
a
is
burr.
incredible.
It's a burr.
It was
That's
a
a
burr.
burr.
It was a. It was. I've been doing
A real life man that's done a burr.
Yeah, I kind of done them in like a different order, but there's the R's still match up. Burr,
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. But we've done it. We've done it a lot, kind of in different order. Like you're supposed to buy them, rehab them, then rent them, then refinance. Sometimes if it's a multiple unit complex, we'll buy it, rent them, pick out the worst ones, rehab those, and as tenants kind of shift around, then we're remodeling those other units. So it takes a little bit longer, and then we go back and refinance it once the rents have raised up to a higher level, and then we take those funds and then go do something else with it.
Super smart too. So the property seasons, so you get a year, 6 months a year, and a lender will give you better terms.
Yeah, they do. They give you better terms. Plus, you've got rents sustaining the property while you're doing the rehabilitation.
Nice.
Because right now we're in the middle of a project, which you guys are aware of. We're in the middle of a project. It's vacant. And so we've got carrying cost and remodel cost, and it's a lot to tackle, and it's a bigger project than I had anticipated, to be honest with you. And we went too far with it, which we always seem to go too far with.
Are.
Yeah, it's
They're
like
always.
too much remodeling, but by the time we're done, I think we're gonna have a really dynamic product. And then once we decided to make it an Airbnb, then we're like, okay, now we really got to step the finishes up a little bit more. So it even got more expensive. And but we got really creative on it. And you guys will have to walk the property. Got really creative on it.
I want to see that one.
Yeah.
Me too.
We got really creative on it. And there was this patio that was kind of crumbling and falling out. So I asked, one of our handyman, I'm like, what's the simplest, easiest way just to get this area like functional and like working? He's like, rip out the rest of those pavers and put 2 poles, and now you got a horseshoe pit for your Airbnb. I was like, all right, done. We're gonna do that. What about over here? And
Great idea.
he goes, fill it up, and that's a putting green. I'm like, all right, perfect. It's just these little
bocce ball.
Yeah, bocce ball, like court. You kind of start getting creative when you're over budget. But the other thing we'll do when we're over budget is the family goes out. We're gonna start planting plants.
There you go.
We like gardening and that type of stuff and landscape design. So my wife and I probably this weekend will be out there planting plants there because we're over budget. So it's time to get in,
roll up the sleeves and get to work.
do the dirty work. Let me tell you, it's a monster. It's a monster project.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I love that area.
Yeah,
that property's nice.
Yeah, it's a decent area right there by the hospital. It's gonna be pretty good. So, anyways, I was doing real estate during that crash or flipping properties, and then decided to get my real estate license around after all of that kind of took place, and did real estate for sold houses in Phoenix for a while before the inevitable happened. which was the call from the family.
There we go.
Hey,
That's a good call for your family.
Yuma's calling.
Yep.
And my father's saying, you know what, this is your last chance. If you really want a part of this air conditioning company, you got to come down here and see if you got it. And I just got married and, we were planning on just doing real estate. And,
Yep.
and
Opportunity always comes at the best time.
Yeah. Yep. So I told my wife, I said, look, I got to go down there. I got to go down to Yuma and I got to see if I can do anything to help this business. If it's even if there's anything remotely that I can do to like help, or if my talents would lend anything from it. And I had some other businesses and some other business ventures that we did, and some businesses we shut down and bought. And it was kind of a crazy time. But when I came down to Yuma and I sat in the office with my dad, and I kind of watched what was going on and seeing where I could bring some expertise, I saw a vision for like 10 years. I could see it clearly in my mind of exactly what I wanted to do with this air conditioning company, how I could do it, and and it's funny because it's actually happening now, but I could actually see the whole vision of what I wanted to do. And I told my wife, I'm going to commute down. I'm going to drive down Monday, 5 a.m, and I'll be back Wednesday night for dinner. And I did that for almost a year, driving back and forth to Phoenix. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Until I got a second call, which was, hey, my buddy down here in Yuma says, I want to start a real estate brokerage. So can you get your broker's license? I said, all right, I'll get my broker's license.
Is it Jerry?
Yeah, it was Jerry.
All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So Jerry called, and the second time, yeah.
5% battery.
Okay. It should be charging.
It's not charging.
Oh, okay.
Not plugged in over there.
Plug it in.
Well, it's only one plug. If I disconnect, it's gonna take off the camera.
No, it shouldn't.
There you go.
Yep.
Ooh.
Plug it directly
that.
into the computer.
Felix
if you
is
can.
not only the host,
Look at that.
he's
Yeah.
also the technical
The advisor of
Yep.
the.
There you go.
Nice, very nice.
I'm technically doing the sound check. I'm just walking him through what he needs to do.
That's great.
So you're in Yuma.
Oh yeah, so I'm in Yuma. So now we're gonna do real
He
estate.
got his broker's license.
Yeah, I got my broker's license, and decided, okay, we're gonna make a go of the real estate office and do property management, and we were gonna go heavy commercial, which we still do a little bit of commercial, but I mean, not like at the volume that we had kind of thought, and I didn't think property management was gonna be
As big.
but the one thing I wanted to do, that I really wanted to do, is I wanted to buy rental property. That's the number. That's the whole reason behind the real estate background. Flipping was an avenue to be able to save money, to be able to buy rental property.
That wealth. Go
Got
back
it.
to that
Okay.
wealth and that passive income that you.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It goes back to wealth and being able to develop, a portfolio that would sustain a retirement at some point.
Yep.
Yep, which is really the main reason that I wanted to do real estate.
Hey Jimmy, so did you think because of your parents owning their own business and not having that, was that the reason for the like instead of having 401k? Because I come from that background too, where my parents, did their businesses and it was. They did well for themselves and they saved up money, but it didn't have that retirement account. It was in property and some stuff.
Yeah.
So is that kind of where you kind of said, if I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I need to get my own retirement account or basically rental account?
Yeah, and I watched my dad do it. I really did watch him do it. He was able to find really interesting deals like creative finance, right? He was able to find these creative finance deals, but it was really just kind of like normal financing back then, right? You didn't necessarily go to a bank. You bought a house for whatever, $30,000, and the owner just took payments on it. And that was just like kind of how it went most of the time. So I saw him do that. And then I also saw him do the repair work, which I went along with him on the repair work. So when I flipped houses, I had already done some repair work, so it wasn't that big of a leap to do that.
Man, that is perfect.
Yeah, so it wasn't that big of a leap, and it made me to where I wasn't afraid to tear into to the wall or tear into whatever the project is or the wall. But he used it as a way to fund retirement as well. And so I saw it kind of from the back end, and it seemed like every time they wanted to do some sort of stock investment or something like that, it just seemed like it never panned out. Like it never made any money. Never, not to say you can't make money in the stock market. There's people who do it. Obviously, there's people who get rich doing it, but it just seemed like it never really panned out. And I remember there's a couple of things that I remember like clear as day. And one of them was my parents saying to me, look, well, they always said we won't afford it. We're on a budget, right? They never said, here, go buy whatever you want. We're on a budget because they had to meet their goals. But I remember this very profound thing. They said, if all of our properties are rented, we make enough money to pay our current house payment. And I don't know why that stuck with me. I'm like, that's awesome. So then take it a step further. Well, how do I get it to pay a car? How do I get it to, pay for vacation?
My mind
How
too.
do I get it to, right? You start thinking like, how do I multiply this to be able to do this? And I remember her saying that, yeah, so if I can get everything rented. And I'll remember the story. I'll remember this for the rest of my life, right? We had phone would ring at our house. And I'd pick up the phone at my house. Yeah, I'm calling about the property for rent, right? Those were the phone calls that we would get at the house. I'd be like, hang on, here's my mom. And my mom was like the property manager. Oh yeah, you interested in seeing it? Yeah, we'll go. We'll schedule time to go show it, right?
I'm sending Jimmy down on his bike.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I remember getting those calls, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'd pick up the phone and then they say, do you have a property for rent? I mean, it wasn't a relatively large portfolio, but they kind of did it themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
perfect.
And they property managed themselves.
Great example for you then.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, so I'll never forget that. Now, I didn't get any money from my parents. The one time they wanted to invest in a deal, it went bad, and the whole market freaking crashed. So that'll never happen again, right?
Yeah,
So that was like the one time.
Jimmy, remember when you got me into this?
Yeah, exactly. And I spent years.
Right,
paying
Dad,
it.
I've made you lots of money. But remember you got me into that one?
No, we didn't. No, he always kind of kept himself a little kind of separate. Like, you need to go and you figure it out, right?
Oh,
I kind of like that. So it wasn't like, here's a loan and go, I had some rich friends that were like, oh, your dad just loaned you $100,000. You're going to go buy a house and now you got your first rental property. No, I didn't get that, right? It wasn't about to do that.
Yep.
They were like, you go do it. And then the one time, it's such a funny story. The one time he's like, you know what? You flipped all these houses. You're doing great. We'll write you a loan. And they wrote a loan to me, and it wasn't even that big of a loan, but we freaking lost big time on and you know what? And when in 08, there was all these non-recourse loans. So a lot of the stuff, you foreclose, you short sale, it all goes away, right? But the one from the family, that one doesn't go away.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
There's serious recourse
You're
on
still
that loan.
paying on it right now.
Yeah. So it did. It took years. And out of principle, we paid it, and we paid it over years.
Yeah,
So
that feels good though.
yeah. So the one time we borrow money from family to do a deal, the whole freaking market crashes.
Oh, man.
Can't imagine the Thanksgiving
Yeah.
dinners, man.
Yeah. But so I didn't get any money from them, but I got the best advice. I got the best advice and
That's
the
the
best
thing,
examples.
and work ethic.
Oh, huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
huge.
I know
My
your
dad
dad.
he'll still outwork me today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
worth
like,
more
calm
than-
down. Let's just chill out.
Hey, Dad, we can go grab lunch
Yeah,
right now and
yeah.
let the guys work knob.
Nope. He's out there.
I'm gonna go bend some sheet metal.
No, it's the craziest thing.
I haven't met your dad, man, but I already
Yeah.
have like the greatest respect.
Yeah, I know. He'll outwork us. He's like, oh, you done with your lunch today? And he's,
like
kind
that.
of like,
But that's what he loves to do.
oh, he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. He can't stop. He can't sit still. He's just got to go. Just got to go.
So we
That's
got
awesome.
So we have the air conditioning business. We have the rental business. Jimmy's a legitimate entrepreneur. That's what you would
I think so now. I
Yes.
feel like I can say that now. There's been a long time since it was a long time where I felt like I couldn't say that.
Jimmy's also a movie star, model. Jimmy
flies
looks like a movie
F-35.
star.
Yeah,
Does his own stunts.
Yes. So
I do my own stunts.
we'll blow his horn up a little bit, and we have like a little sheet that we kind of what we're gonna go over. But
Well, I have a quick question.
okay, go for it.
So was there something in your life that you saw? I'm thinking the answer is your parents, but what sparked this entrepreneurial spirit within you?
Yeah, no, that is a really crazy question, and my wife and I talk about it a lot because she's just as go as I am, like, and maybe even more. Like we probably need to tell each other just to calm down, but instead we escalate
That's
and
awesome.
elevate each other, which is really,
It's a power couple.
Yeah, it really is amazing. If you could see the things that my wife does to support our businesses, I mean, it is beyond what I ever expected in a mate. I mean, that is like, and that's rare to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
yeah, that's
don't
your
say that.
biggest partnership. right
Absolutely,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it is huge. You should see it. I mean, and even it's funny, in the same breath she'll say, "Hey, we need to calm down. And by the way, did you get these other 20 things done? And why haven't you got it done?" Right? So we've
Yep.
held each other accountable for these things. But the there's something, I had a very extreme thirst for knowledge. Like I can't get enough. I have to learn. I have to keep reading books. I have to listen to audiobooks. Like there's always an audiobook in my truck. And that seemed to like have like kind of compounded. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. It's so bizarre. And I cannot pinpoint why I have a different engine than somebody who doesn't. I cannot figure that out. And we talk about it all the time. Like why can't we just like have like regular jobs and just, just relax and do those things. I can't figure that out.
That's your motor.
I feel the same way, man.
Yeah, I see it in you guys. I mean, I see it. Actually, there's a
motor.
lot of people who do it, but for some reason, you've got a different engine that just wants to go, and I don't know what that is.
We don't see, it's allegory
Yeah.
of the cave. We don't see that. We see the flames completely different from everybody else.
Dang, Plato over here.
There we go.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible. The allegory of the cave. I don't know if it's Plato, but it might be Plato. I can't
might be
remember, but
Plato.
it's like
Yeah.
the reflection of,
Yeah.
wow, So now I haven't been able to figure that
Felix
out.
is a deep thinker.
Yeah, I can see that.
So my question is, because not a lot of people can do this. It's a talent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It has to do with juggling so many different things. Because, like I was saying, I was just joking. You're not an actor. You're not but you do have an AC company that is very successful. You just were
13 years.
13 years
They've
best.
won awards here in Yuma County.
13 years, Yuma's
13
best.
times,
Yeah,
wow.
13 times. Yuma's
You,
best.
you have the property management. You're a real estate agent. How do you do all those things and do them well?
Oh,
'Cause
well,
that's
yeah.
a lot of people can't do that. They can't even succeed at one business.
Yeah.
You have several.
Not even keeping their houses clean.
And that's a shocking part. Our house is like spotless. I don't know how my wife does it, right? And she does it, right? And in addition to the business work, it's not just, I mean, it's the home, the kids, the business. Oh, and she works, as a dental hygienist, 1 to 2 days a week. Like, I mean, it's
Holy
just
moly.
unbelievable. The amount of action that you have to take to be able to do these things.
So you got the home life is good, good partner.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where it starts.
That's huge.
Okay.
That's huge. And if I
That allows you the time and the energy to focus on the other businesses because it kind of takes that off the plate. Like, mom's got that handled kind of. I can just, help out, but I can focus a little bit more and get up and go.
Yeah, no, there is a really incredible partnership. I mean, I'll even drop a bomb here because when we were dating, I took her to a financial class. And I said, this is what I want to do. And I was waiting to see her reaction. And she's like, oh, we could crush this. I'm like, ooh, that's it. We're doing this.
You're the one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, just think about that.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of companies, they want to know like, especially if it's high level job.
Yeah.
They want to know your spouse.
Yeah.
They'll
I could
literally
see
take
that.
you and your spouse out to dinner, kind of see if there's tension or there's not going to be a good vibe there. They're going to know you're to be distracted.
Because they're not only hiring you, they're hiring
Your
life behind
problems,
you.
everything.
Yeah, no, so there's definitely some struggles, right? I don't think those companies are where they should be, right? So it may appear, successful on the outside, but I'm looking at them going, we got to improve it. We got to make things different. We got to go a different direction. I mean, we just bought a new system for the AC company. I mean, all these things. So it's funny because I don't see it from that perspective. I don't see that, that we're successful in those businesses. I see them as I got to keep them going and keep them running to get them to the success that we want to go. But juggling all of these things, everybody, I think you couldn't have that capacity, but you also got to have the capacity to not get emotional over the things that you're doing. Because I had some losses yesterday, right? I mean, that drove me crazy, right? I'm gonna have, but I had a great day today, right? Right. I mean, business is celebrating your win and then getting kicked in the nuts the next day. I mean, that's what it is every single freaking day.
Yeah.
You're getting killed one day and then you're hitting the success one day. And then, but we've also done kind of fun stuff like the laundromat. Did I tell you guys about the laundromat?
No. Tell me about
I know
that.
you bought it,
gosh,
but I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, the laundromat. That is a business I thought was going to be more passive. It's not. It's not. You think just people go there and put quarters in it, and then
Right.
it's not. So we do have the laundromat running. We were so happy. We purchased Joanne's Laundromat,
Right.
which is over there on Orange Avenue.
And 8th
Wow.
Street, right?
Yeah, on 8th Street, and that was a long-standing laundromat. And then we we basically started tearing into the building, and there was so much deferred maintenance that we got to put so much money into getting it. But we haven't remodeled the outside. So when you drive by it, you're like, oh, it still kind of looks like the old place. But when you go inside, the whole inside is remodeled, and it looks so good. I mean,
Tile
it is
flooring?
great. Oh, it looks really good.
So I saw that, and they were like living on the property.
Yeah,
It was pretty interesting. I read the comments on the MLS. It's like owners will stay there or something.
Yeah.
Is that what you did, or?
Yeah, well, that's what I was like. Hey, you push the bond of your marriage by saying, hey, so should we move into this one bedroom apartment into the laundromat?
Right.
No, that was a hard no. We are not moving into that place because we already feel like we're also married to our work, but we're not going to live there. But the couple who, and it might have not just been the couple, it might have been the last two owners, lived on site at the laundromat. So there was an apartment there too. I mean, talk about never being able to get away from your work. I mean, that is insane. So they were at the laundromat and they lived there. And with the apartment, we've kind of gutted the kitchen out of it, and parts of the kitchen, and that's really kind of like an office area. But we haven't remodeled that area yet. And we had a food trailer there for a while, like a food truck. Okay. So I am looking for a food truck tenant on the back of that property because there's a big patio.
Okay, what's the rent?
It's like $700 for the patio. I mean, it's cheap,
perfect.
cheap, perfect for a food truck.
You're not gonna find that anywhere.
No, so we'll let people know.
Oh yeah. I'd love to get a food truck on the back of that place again, because while it was there, it did really well. But there's a couple problems with the city and the way that they allow food trucks to like be on the property. Yep. And one of them is they got to leave every night, or they have to rent space inside. So I either need to rent additional space to somebody, or they got to pull out of there every night. Yeah.
Okay, so people are washing their clothes, having dinner, having lunch. Yeah,
it's killer. Oh my God, the place was so good.
Plus, there's some offices right across the street.
Oh yeah, it did really well. Yeah. They did really well while they were there. They did really well. Aside from having to leave, every night. Which got too complicated and too expensive.
But that place on 16th Street, in front of Metro, they move every day.
They do move every day.
So, I think they have to.
Yeah, I need the right tenant in there to be able to
pull the trailer
and to get in and out of there, or they got to rent additional space inside.
Jimmy, I gotta tell you something, man. Hopefully this makes you feel good. So we watched this show. It's called The Prophet. What's the name of this guy?
Marcus Lemonis.
Marcus Lemonis.
Jimmy knows him.
Yeah, I met him. Yep. No, I don't know him. He would not recognize me. But yeah, I met him.
So
you met him.
Yeah. I have a theory why I think you're doing so great right now and you're able to keep everything going. Because he talks about there's three things that he cares about that he thinks every good business has.
Yes.
It's the people, it's the product, and that's the process.
Yeah.
I've met the quick refrigeration workers. I've talked with the Gilmore property management through the phone. I think you guys have great people.
Oh, thank you.
I think you have a great process. It's so easy. And most importantly, you care about the product. You care about the way you deliver your work. And I think that's huge, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I think we've like on the property management side, we've really refined things to where it is more of like a defined process, because property management's really easy until it's all messed up. Like, it's really easy till something goes wrong, right?
Right.
It's like so simple, and then something goes wrong. So we've, over the last couple of years, have run into all these wrong issues and problems and whatever it is, and now we've got a process. So every time we ran into a problem, we turned it into some type of process. So that way we knew how to deal with it.
You learn from that
process.
You become better.
Yeah. So we've improved. So we've learned from that process. So I mean, something as simple as not paying rent, right? What's the process when that happens, right? That was one we obviously developed early on, right? What happens if they don't pay? Okay, great. So what happens when they don't pay after you send them the notice? Okay, well, what does that process look like? And developing those processes, I think, makes a difference with the property management clients we have.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely using Jimmy's management services. People love him.
I appreciate that.
The girls,
oh my
people
gosh.
refer over. They're so happy.
Beatrice in the real estate office, our office manager, she's
awesome.
Absolutely incredible.
Great.
Dynamic, and she's fair. She keeps us fair to the tenants. Because that's one thing that I've actually learned from our office manager. If you want to be a good landlord and you want to have good tenants and you want to keep good rents and good tenants, you have to be a good landlord.
Yep.
That was a major, major lesson that I learned right? And what does that mean? Well, when they call and they say they got a leaky faucet, somebody's out there the same day, right? That was like really important. And in my mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute, why do I want to send somebody out to fix their leaky faucet when they were late on rent last month, right? So you start playing that game where they're not entitled to good services because they did this,
Right.
right? When it's really the opposite. Now I'm showing them that we are serious and we're professional. And so the next time that they're contemplating being late, they're probably not, because we've been so responsive to them going, and so going forward, we've kept the relationship good, because the tenant's saying the same thing. Why am I paying my rent on time when I've got a leaky faucet, right? They're thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. And I've kind of had that attitude, when I was just kind of managing my own little properties on the side and doing that. I had that kind of attitude. And then when we really decided to become a true property management company and redo policies, like, no, we need to be good landlords. And we will keep good tenants because we're going to be good landlords.
Law of equivalent exchange, premium rent, premium services.
There you go.
Man, I like that. Law of equivalent exchange.
See, this guy is like,
Man.
he's a philosopher.
Man, there's so much more to him than I would have guessed. It's incredible.
This is just a tip.
Yeah.
It's an iceberg.
I'm sure. A bilateral contract,
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. That's incredible.
man.
So before we let Jimmy go, I got a question.
Please.
I got a question. You talked about vision at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, you talked about having a 10-year vision, or
Yeah.
don't give away your secrets, because you got to keep. I know every good entrepreneur has huge visions, but you don't want to give away your competitive advantage. We get it. Just give everybody that's listening, give a vision of where you see in general, whether you want to go specific on a business or just where you see it ending, where you're like, okay, I'm passive now. I got what I need. Does that ever end?
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah, no, that is like the trickiest thing. And this is a conversation my wife and I have a lot. Okay, so when do we back it down, right? Because at this moment we are thriving on the quick business decisions that we're making and the catastrophes and fixing them, and we're thriving on that right now. But there's a point where you either burn out or you start to make mistakes on it. So we're starting to ask ourselves, where do we need to be to get to where we want? And really, kind of my next personal goal is, how do I shape my businesses to where when my kids are off, I can be off, right? They're off at 3. How can I be off at 3, right? They're half days on Fridays. How can I do that? They have the whole summer off. How can I possibly do that? Ooh. So right, that's a hard one.
No, that's awesome.
How could you do that? Like how can I do that? I got to hire the right people? I got to put the right systems in place. Is it even possible? Those are the kind of the things that we're talking about now. But really, it's going to come down to how much, even as an entrepreneur, how much control can you release? Mm-hmm. That's the hardest, biggest challenge, because the idea and thought that I can do it better, or I need to be there to always, so they do it better, that's always in the back of our mind. So I would say vision, I can see another 10 years out for the projects that we're working on. I can see that because the kids are, of the age that my kids are. So I can see that vision for the next 10 years. But how I get there, I'm thinking about it every day. That's the crazy part. Well, because I still want to grow. I love the wins, right?
Yeah.
I love getting a good property and then completing the task and the goal, right? So I don't think I can ever stop doing real estate investments or business investments.
So what does that goal look like? Like, how many doors? Do you have a number? Do we need to sit down, Jimmy, and come up with numbers and everything?
Yeah, I do have a number, because my dad asked me this too. What's the number, right? You've got a pretty good, decent portfolio, real estate portfolio now. So what is it? Is it doors? Is it dollars? So I do have the number.
Okay.
The number is when my current income, passive income from the rental properties, exceeds
Active.
my bills, right? So when it exceeds the bills. Now, here's what's challenging with this is that if my properties are leveraged, then I've got to do that much more to get to achieve that. So it's still the same goal, because this is the debate that I have with my dad. He's like, "Why don't you just start paying some stuff off?" Well, why don't I just keep buying, right? That's why don't we just keep trying to build the portfolio? I've got the systems in place to find the way that I want them. So I still, with the debt service in place, if the income can exceed my bills, then we're there.
And then if tenants don't pay, that excess
That
still
cushion,
pays
yeah.
the debt service.
But in the meantime, the portfolio debt is always being paid down.
Right.
Right. And this is like the most pompous, arrogant thing to say, but it's the absolute truth with real estate. You have debt on real estate and your tenants are paying that debt down. One thing is for certain, every month you're getting richer, right?
Yep.
Every single month, because your debt is coming down and your net worth is going up. So if you can do that at a, whatever the larger scale you can do it. So the challenges that we're having is your passive income needs to exceed your bills, right? Well, you start getting a little more passive income, your bills start to get higher, right?
Yeah.
So then you've got to be able to keep the bills in check. So you're not doing that.
You want to get to your rental portfolio. That number is where you can live comfortably and feel really good. At that point, then you're like, okay, I can
before they're paid off.
Before they're paid off.
So that's the crazy part.
Okay.
Because if you think about that, before they're paid off, if I can reach that goal before they're paid off, that's huge. So because then when they are paid off, then we're talking generational wealth,
Right.
Yeah.
Then that's the next kind of thing. So as of right now, that's the goal, is to get the cash flow with debt service, get it over the and we're a long ways off, right? It sounds like I'm further along than we are, but literally every bit of cash flow that we have now in our portfolio goes back into the portfolio. We still have not taken all this time, all these properties, we have not taken the distribution for it. Now, I mean, okay, we bought a couch and went on vacation and did some things like that, but all of that cash flow has gone right back into another acquisition.
Smart.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's sometimes it's like, well, where's the money? Where is it? Well, the cash has gone back into another property or gone into
The best
another
place
investment.
it can go, really.
It probably is, considering inflation and things like that. I mean, really, how much property should you have bought knowing inflation went up through the roof, right? You should have bought everything you could get your hands on, because the value of that went up just inflationary.
Right,
Went
exactly.
up. So anyways, that's the number. So you see the challenges, though, with my number. But I finally answered the question. It took me 2 years.
Yeah, you're in growth mode.
Totally.
Yeah, you're in growth.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, I think I'm still in growth mode. There's another big project that I want to get my hands around and see if we can do something with that. And then maybe we do need to relax and, take some vacations or things. I mean, we did take a good vacation, but it's time to
It's all balance.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what that is.
You went to Deutschland, right?
We went to Switzerland.
Oh,
Yeah,
Switzerland.
we went to,
Okay.
well, we did
Dang.
my sister lives in Germany, so we went and saw her. Then we did Switzerland, and so I mean, it's not like we're taking every dime. I mean, we went on vacation at least,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, we did Switzerland, and then you start looking at bucket list things like, I want to snowboard in Switzerland. I want to eat in Italy, and you want to go walk through the holy doors at the Vatican. So there's all this kind of great
I
stuff.
want to go to Germany and have a German conversation with someone.
Oh my gosh, it's really easy with the beer there. You can talk to anybody. They might be speaking German, you might be speaking English, but you're having a great conversation.
I'll be like, couldn't Sie mir bitte helfen?
Can you speak German?
Dude, he's incredible.
No way. Oh my god, it's crazy.
Felix is a
Great.
genius.
Next podcast, I'm gonna interview him.
Yeah, in German.
Yeah, in German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No,
good.
change languages.
No way. No way. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Maybe we'll have some beers and then you can start doing it.
Yeah, I probably could speak German if I had a couple beers.
Oh man, Jim, you're always a great time.
Oh, man.
Dude, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it, Jimmy.
I had so much fun
Dude,
today.
we know
Thank
you're
you.
a busy man, so to sit down with us for
Crazy. Yeah. It's good times.
just a little bit of time. Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, I always want to come on here.
Yeah,
You know,
you
I've
come back.
wanted you here for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between two ferns, you guys ever see that?
We're in the jungle.
Yeah, in the jungle, baby. I love it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That should be the intro.
Yeah,
That should be the
Welcome
intro.
to the jungle.
Yeah, there you
Welcome
go.
to the jungle.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
We're actually going to be doing some green themes, so we'll
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
we'll have to jungle this place up.
Now you got a great space here, so you can do,
Yeah,
you
it's
make
small,
it-
but it's cozy. And
Yeah, it works. This
make
works
it
out
happen. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
You come back anytime, Jimmy.
Killer. I'd love
Absolutely.
To.
I'd love to have you
Love
here
to.
again.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get to the next real estate meetup, which you guys do a great job at.
Thank
Those
you.
meetups
Thank
are
you.
incredible.
Thank
If
you.
you're not going to those, you need to go. It's incredible.
Completely free.
There you go. Get
Yep.
get a good plug in there, because it's like the best.
Yeah, next UMR event, March 13th, over at the 4 Points Hotel, 5:30 p.m. Everything for free. The education, the food, should I say it?
Let's do it.
The alcohol. Show up, you guys.
The
It's
atmosphere,
awesome. Yeah, the atmosphere.
company,
incredible. It's
the
incredible.
company, the networking you have.
incredible.
It's great.
That's the biggest part, the networking.
Yeah.
You get to meet Jimmy there. You get to meet big hitters there. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's killer.
Where can they find Jimmy?
Oh yeah, if you want to find Jimmy, you can find him on Instagram. We're gonna go ahead and put the socials up there on the screen. Gilmore Property Management.
Yep.
Quick
Gilmore.
refrigeration.
Yep.
And don't be afraid to send them a message. Give them a call if you need a new AC or a roof or anything. Quick is the best. And Gilmore Property Management, they never fail.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jimmy. You have a good night.